The Green Party's leadership is officially underway. 6 candidates are in the running. Teacher, businesswoman, and writer Sarah Gabrielle Barron, federal public servant Simon Nachi Messier, climate change activist Anna Keenan, and former Green Party of Quebec candidate Chad Walcott are running as co-leader candidates. Also running as a joint ticket, former Green Party leader Elizabeth May, that's a familiar face, and human rights activist Jonathan Pednault. That last pair, May and Pednault, are here. Welcome to Power and Politics. How are you guys? Miss May.
Excellent.
Good. Miss May, I want to start with you, of course. You know, you stepped down as leader in 2019. You were on the job for 13 years, and now you want to come back. What's happened? Are you unhappy with how the party has been run over the last few years, and you feel like you have to come back to straighten things out a bit?
No, not at all. I'm not coming back in the sense of doing something, the same job I did before. The co-leader proposition that Jonathan Pednault and I are offering is not only is it different, for me, it feels so different to make this bid together. And the thing that motivated me is the climate crisis is increasingly urgent, and we're not acting with sufficient urgency.
Well, you mentioned the climate crisis, and one person who cares a lot about the climate crisis is David Suzuki. I'm not sure if you saw his remarks, but he does feel like it's a mistake for you to jump back into this to take the reins of the party. We also heard from Quebec Green Party leader Alex Terrell, who was expelled from the federal party. He's essentially accusing you of engineering the rules of the race to kind of pave the way for you to take over as leader once again. What do you say to those critics? There are those two, and there are others within the party who are concerned.
Well, I would never lump David Suzuki as one of my dearest friends in the world with someone who is making, again, there will always be in politics false accusations that are malicious. I set them aside. I'm not interested in talking about charges that I had anything to do with setting up the rules of the race. It's absurd. But David's right. I mean, I struggled with this decision because I don't think the party can only be led by me. And I know David's concern was as well. He said, thank God Elizabeth's in there and she's the strongest voice we've got. I recognize that the idea that I would come back to be leader is not only a hard sell for others, it's a hard sell for me. That's not what I'm doing. I'm proposing, as Jonathan Pednault is my complete equal partner in this, that we take the party to a model of leadership. Canadians may not be very familiar with it, but Greens around the world use the co-leader approach quite frequently and serve in governments around the world as co-leaders of a Green Party that really shows that our values include distributed leadership, grassroots democracy, and that our values, I believe, are better reflected by moving to a co-leader model.
So, Mr. Pednault, why are you doing this? Why are you running with Ms. May? Why not just go it alone?
Because I think we clearly are facing complex crises, not only within the party, but within our beautiful nation as well. And, by showing that we can work together to solve these issues, we're also sending a very strong signal to Canadians who I think expect teamwork. They expect humility as well. These crises are bigger than any single one of us can fix on their own. So I think Elizabeth and I working together, especially at a time when the party, as you rightly mentioned, is faced with a number of crises, working together to rebuild it and propose actionable, concrete solutions to Canadians that reflect their daily lives and daily problems. I think this is a winning combination for the party, but also for the country.
But there could be the perception out there that because Ms. May has been in politics for a long time, she was the past leader, there's a perception out there that she will be the one in charge, that you might have to take a back seat because she is such a force in politics in this country. How do you counter that perception?
Well, first and foremost, we're asking members to put my name first, on the ballot, and Elizabeth second. I think that is already a pretty clear signal that we are equal. Of course, Elizabeth is much better known by the membership. She's been around, and has built this party up, and members know her. They don't know me yet. Will certainly get to know me over the next couple of months and hopefully the next couple of years. So we're really in this moment where it's important to rebuild and the party internally. I am focusing and will focus on that, traveling the country over the next, and I'm pledging myself to travel the country throughout the next couple of months as we prepare for an election to make sure the party's in good standing to face what will probably be the most important election in Canadian history, in my life at least. And we're still waiting, of course, to know who the next Conservative leader will be. But for the first time in history, we have someone who is clearly anti-system, anti-institution, running for office, as the leader of a serious political party in Canada. And that is very troubling at a time when we need these institutions to work for everyone as we enter these crises. If Elizabeth wanted a puppet, she would have done better than to choose someone who has worked in conflict areas for 14 years, as I have, and has dealt with warlords and politicians and diplomats throughout the world.
So it'll be a walk in the park to work with Ms. Way then, I guess. So I think, Ms. May, for most Canadians, rightly or wrongly, the Green Party has been associated, it's become tied to this idea there's a lot of infighting, that there's ugly politics in this party, that things don't go very smoothly when you're Green in this country. How do you correct that? How do you start to put a new brand on this party?
Well, I think people just have to watch what we do in real life and not just media stories. Honestly, when you look at the hard work and dedication of elected Greens, whether at the provincial levels in BC, New Brunswick, Ontario, Prince Edward Island, or in the federal parliament, we are more than anything committed to being of service to this country. We don't put power ahead of principle ever. It's true we've been through a bad patch. I'm not going to pretend that we've had lots of lovely media coverage since I stepped down as leader, but we will demonstrate both through this leadership race, which we hope will be an example of collaborative politics, that every single one of the people running for leader of the Green Party of Canada that have just been unveiled today, Jonathan and I are very committed to seeing all of them elected to Parliament in a much expanded Green Party caucus that will including our colleague Paul Manley and Nanaimo Ladysmith, including more Greens, and obviously re-electing Mike Morris in Kitchener Centre. We want to have a strong influence on government to do what's needed for Canadians who are troubled by inflation and the healthcare crisis. But fundamentally, we're the only party that will be honest about the extent of the climate emergency and take steps to help Canadians weather the coming storms.
Is it really just media reports, though, about the infighting? I mean, there were a number of stories about it, but is there something deeper? Surely there has to be something rotten. There were so many stories. There were so many people coming out that were saying they had so many issues with how that party was being governed. I mean, is this why you're stepping back now? Because things were so chaotic?
Well, I've been a member of the Green Party of Canada since 2006 and leader since, I guess since 2006 as well. We are a different kind of party. And if you look at Greens around the world, you will see that differences emerge. We've never been a party that said the leader was in charge. You know how it is with other parties. As soon as somebody in a backbencher says, I didn't like that decision or I didn't like that vote, all the media gloms on and says, oh, they've lost discipline. Greens don't believe that it's appropriate to be top down and controlled. And that's why the leader doesn't have those powers. That said, I mean, when I was leader of the party, we had we'd had vigorous debates. We'd often have disagreements. They didn't end up spilling into the media as sort of gossipy stories. There's a lot of rebuilding to do, no doubt. We had disastrous election results. In 2021, I don't understand why we didn't have a full slate. We've had full slates from 2004 going forward. As a member of Parliament, those of us who were in caucus didn't play any role in running the last election campaign or having any role in management. So I have a lot of questions about the rebuilding from what happened then, because I don't really know how the decisions were made or why the results were so bad. That said, I did find, as someone who loves this party and knows our members well, that the image created of us was distorted and looked a lot nastier than the reality. But I will not deny that there's a lot of rebuilding to do after, a bad election result. There's enough blame to go around. I'll take my share. But we are rebuilding, and we will be able to give Canadians the option they want for strong, authentic, honest members of parliament.
Okay, let's leave it there. Thank you both. Elizabeth May and Jonathan Pednault are running to lead the Green Party of Canada. Thank you.
Thank you.
Merci.
Hi, I'm Vashi Capellos, host of Power in Politics. See more of our show by subscribing to the CBC News channel or click the link for another video.